Inventory is without a doubt one of the best or worst minigames in Guild Wars 2. Quite literally, most of what happens in Guild Wars 2 is just an avalanche of loot and gear, and then even loot boxes that you get from random drops across Tyria. And it is overwhelming. Actually, in the past, I've seen that to be one of the reasons that people stop playing the game, is just because the inventory is such a pain in the neck. Today, we're going to walk through some of the essential tips that I would recommend for managing your inventory, whether it's your first time in this game or you've been here for a few thousand hours. So let's figure this out. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Guild Wars 2 content. Before we get into advanced strategies, let's basically nail the fundamentals. There are 3 buttons that are in your inventory that will start out your clean inventory process. Your first one, and arguably the most important, is the deposit all materials. Clicking this instantly sends all of your crafting materials, every piece, it doesn't matter what it is, straight to your account's material storage. At a baseline, your account material storage has 250 spots that it can hold. The materials aren't gone, but they're safely stored and just available for any character on your account at a crafting station. Honestly, the first tip that I'd say is make this like a reflex. You know, you just finished an event, you just did a whole bunch of stuff, just deposit all the materials, and it should clear out some of the space in your inventory. Right next to it is the compact button. This little button does a wonder as far as tidying everything up, stacking items, and filling empty gaps from the top. This makes it easier to see what you actually have and how much space is left. Now, as mentioned, your material storage can hold up to 250 by default, and you can purchase more off of the gem store, but we're not talking about that right now. For a new player, this is more than enough space. You might hit the cap for common stuff, but for the most part, unless you are dedicatedly farming or you've had an account for quite a while, it's going to take a bit for you to hit cap here. Your third button is one that happens at any merchant. Every vendor in game has a sell tab. So you go there and you click the button that's down on the bottom right that says sell junk. Instantly, this sells all the gray named items in your bags, which exists for no other reason to be turned in for coin. A little bit of free money, and it frees up your space in just a single click. Seriously, mastering those 3, deposit, compact, sell junk, it is absolutely the first step in the right direction, 100%. Now let's go ahead and tackle one of the bigger sources of clutter, gear. Blue, green, yellow, and orange items that flood your bags just basically from killing everything. You can kill a Skrit, and for some reason he has 15 pieces of gear on him. I don't know how that works, but it happens. Knowing what to do with them is the difference between a healthy inventory bags and a constant headache. This is where salvaging comes in, and having the simplest of rules is key. First, let's talk about the unidentified gear you get at level 80, the level 80 maps. As a general rule, you should always right-click and identify it before doing anything else. Because you haven't identified the gear and you are quote-unquote rolling for what it is, it can sometimes jump up in rarity, meaning that you could have a blue unidentified piece of gear and that you roll out and it goes up to a green, or a green could go up to a rare, or even more so an exotic. So just as default, I would always recommend at least identifying the gear before you do anything else. Now, you can, of course, sell them to the trading post as unidentified gear, and you'll get the quick value there, but honestly, it's very seldomly that I would ever sell any of the gear there. It's always more worth it to salvage, in my opinion. Once identified, the gear has a color: blue, green, yellow, or orange. Here's my simple approach for the color book. First, the blue and green gear is, as a rule, easy. Salvage it. You would almost never get the money selling these to the trading post. Honestly, the basic cheap salvage kit will do. But honestly, a long-term investment that you can make, and it's one that I recommend, is the copper-fed Salvage-O-Matic from the gem store. It has infinite uses, and it's really low cost per salvage, and it makes it super, super convenient. So if you're new, just basic salvage kits from a vendor, and that works perfectly fine. But if you can, splurge for the copper-fed. Moving on, the rare or yellow gear, the game changes a little. You salvage rare mainly to get the globs of ectoplasm. It's a really valuable crafting material. To do this right, you need a better salvage kit. You either use a master salvage kit, a mystic salvage kit. Baseline, never use a basic kit on a rare item. You're just throwing that money away. Don't do it. Third, and probably the most complex, is the exotic or the orange gear. Your first instinct should be always to check the trading post. Many exotics are worth several gold, and way more than what you would get from salvaging it. However, some exotics have valuable runes or sigils that are inside of them that are worth more than the item itself. If a sword is worth 2 gold, but the sigil is worth 3, you'll want to salvage it. To guarantee that you get an upgrade, you may need to use the best of the best, a Black Line salvage kit. These are rare, only use them when it's profitable. For all other low value exotics, a Masters or a Mystic kit work just fine. If you really want to get in-depth and min-max everything, I've included some links down below if you want to learn more about the ins and outs of salvaging and which kits you should use. Alright, so now that we have some of our basic systems ready to go, let's talk about the actual bags themselves. More space, of course, is always going to be better. Getting more is one of the best upgrades that you can have for your character. Every character starts out with a 20 slot backpack. If you're a free-to-play account, you start out with 3 bag slots per character, while paid accounts have 5. You can always buy more bag slots from the gem store, going up to a max of 15 per character, but again, that costs real money. Your first goal should be to fill every available bag slot with a decent sized bag. You don't have to break the bank. Go to the trading post and search for 18 to 20 slot bags. Often they're pretty affordable and they give you a massive immediate upgrade. You can also earn several large bags for free just by playing. Signing up for the official Guild Wars 2 newsletter on the website will grant you a free 24 slot bag in your in-game mail. You can get 5 different 20 slot bags from completing Living World Season 1 chapters, one for each of the achievements. And honestly, going and doing some World versus World to get the Siege Master satchels for a couple of pieces of gold and some badges of honor. Honestly, that's the way that I went to get a couple of really good slotted bags, but there is a bunch of different ways that you can do this. For the truly dedicated, you can craft your own bags all the way up to 32 slots, but be warned, a 32 slot crafted bag is incredibly expensive and should only ever really be seen as a late game luxury gold sink. About 99% of the players, a full set of 20 bags is more than enough. Once you've mastered these basics, let's go ahead and talk about some other tactics that you can use. First up is the shared inventory slots. These are special slots that appear at the top of your inventory that are accessible by every character on your account. You can buy them from the gem store, and they are one of the biggest convenience upgrades in the game. They're perfect for the account-bound items that you want handy, like the infinite salvage kits, permanent lounge passes, or teleport to friend items. Next are the specialized bags. You can get bags with special properties that automatically sort items for you, like an oiled bag that collects all your junk, an equipment bag that will grab weapons and armor, but the most useful of them is the invisible bag. Any item you put into the invisible bag is hidden from merchants when you sell junk and won't be salvaged from salvage all. This makes it kind of like a perfect safe deposit box as you were going through for food, utility items, alternate gear sets, you name it. Even with your huge bags, you'll eventually fill up your bank. This is where the time-honored tradition of a storage mule comes in. This is common in all sorts of MMOs. A mule is just an alternate character that you have created for the sole purpose of holding stuff, loading up with inventory with items that you don't need often, like raid decorations, seasonal currencies. It's a cheap and easy way to massively expand your storage at the cost of one of your character slots. Finally, a quick tip for all those materials that pile up like crazy, namely the bloodstone dust, dragonite ore, and imperial fragments. Best thing that you can do with them after you've gathered them all is to refine them into their brick forms or get one of the gobblers. Honestly, there's gobblers that eat up all these excess materials and give you a little gift each day. And honestly, don't be afraid to just delete excess stacks if you absolutely need the space. I mean, you will always get more, even despite your best efforts. And that's it. Your inventory is no longer a source of stress, but a tool that you can control. It's gone from hopefully a chaotic mess to somewhat clean and organized and an efficient part of your gameplay. Honestly, if you take nothing away from this video, just make sure that you're always depositing all materials as a reflex. You know, like have a couple of salvage kits to salvage the gear that you'll get, and always just check the trading post before you really salvaging any of those exotics. Hopefully by following these, you'll spend less time fighting your inventory and more time enjoying everything that Guild Wars 2 has to offer. If you're in the market for legendaries, I have a couple of tips on how you can make map completion, world completion, a little bit easier, and you can see that video here. As always, stay caffeinated, folks.